Let me share with you a secret. A secret that might just change everything you think you know about yourself. You are not who you think you are. This person you call by your name, with all its anxieties and ambitions, with all its memories and fears, ... It's just a mask you're wearing so skillfully that you've fooled even yourself. But if you're not this person, then who are you? Clue. This is exactly what we're going to explore together today. You see, the whole of life is nothing more than an elaborate game. And like any game, once you understand the rules, you can learn to play it with remarkable skill and, dare I say, with a sense of genuine joy. Think about it for a moment. When you were a child, you played games all the time. Cowboys and Indians, house, pretend tea parties. You threw yourself into these games with complete conviction. You were absolutely the cowboy, totally the mother serving tea. But you never forgot, not really, that it was play. The moment your mother called you for dinner, you dropped the role without a second thought. You didn't cling to being the cowboy. You didn't suffer an identity crisis when the game ended. But somewhere along the way, we forgot how to play. We became what I call method actors in the theater of life. We got so absorbed in our roles that we forgot we were acting. We started believing that we really are the banker, the housewife, the success, the failure. And when you forget you're playing a role, the game becomes a prison. The first rule of this cosmic game is perhaps the most startling. You are not who you think you are, but who is the real you? That's where it gets interesting. The real you is the player, not the character. You are the awareness that can observe thoughts, feelings, sensations. You are the space in which all experiences arise and dissolve. You are, if you will, the stage on which the entire drama unfolds. Once you see this, really see it, the game changes completely. You realize you've been like an actor who got so lost in his role that he forgot he could take off the costume and go home. And here's another rule that most players miss entirely. The game has no final winning condition. There is no ultimate prize, no finish line where you can finally declare victory and retire. The whole point of the game is the playing itself. We've been taught to think of life as a journey with a destination, but it's much more like music or dancing. You don't dance to get to a particular spot on the floor. You don't listen to a symphony to get to the final note. The meaning is in the movement, in the flowing, in the playing itself. But we've turned life into a race. We rush through childhood to get to adulthood. We hurry through school to get to our careers. We work frantically to reach retirement. And then we sit in our rocking chairs, wondering where it all went. We were so busy trying to get somewhere else that we missed the only place we ever actually were, which is here now, in this moment. And here's another fascinating aspect of this game. It's completely rigged in your favor. How's that? Well, no matter what happens to you, no matter what role you find yourself playing, you can't actually lose. Because you are not just your character, you are the entire game itself. Think of it this way. In a dream, you might be chased by a monster, and it feels terrifying. But when you wake up, you realize you were both the one being chased and the monster doing the chasing. You were the entire dream. In the same way, you are not just one player in the cosmic game. You are the game playing itself. This might sound like mystical nonsense, but consider this. Every person who irritates you, every situation that challenges you, they're all part of your experience. They exist in your awareness. In a very real sense, the entire universe as you know it is happening inside your consciousness. You are not a small separate being struggling in a hostile world. You are the world looking at itself through the eyes of what you call you. Once you get this joke, and it is a cosmic joke of the highest order, your whole approach to living changes. You stop taking everything so personally. When someone criticizes you, instead of getting defensive, you might think, here's the universe playing the role of the critic. How interesting. What can I learn from this performance? Now, let me address something important. This doesn't mean you become passive or indifferent. Far from it. When you know you're playing a game, you can play it with tremendous skill and enthusiasm. You can care deeply about your moves while not being devastated if they don't work out perfectly. You can love fully while not being destroyed if that love isn't returned. You can work passionately while not being crushed if your efforts don't immediately succeed. The secret is what I call playing with a light touch. It's like being a great jazz musician. You know the basic structure of the song, but you're always ready to improvise. You respond to what the other musicians are doing. You don't try to force the music into some predetermined pattern. You flow with it, play with it, dance with it. Most people approach life like they're playing classical music with a very strict conductor. Every note must be exactly as written. There's no room for spontaneity, no space for creativity. But life is much more like jazz. The basic rhythm is there, but within that rhythm, infinite possibilities exist for improvisation and play. Let's talk about one of the trickiest aspects of the game. How do you deal with suffering? The first thing to understand is that suffering is not the same as pain. Pain is natural, inevitable. If you stub your toe, it hurts. If someone you love dies, you grieve. These are simply part of the human experience, part of what makes the game interesting and complete. But suffering, that's different. Suffering is the story we tell ourselves about the pain. It's the resistance to what's happening. The demand that life be different than it is. Pain says, this hurts. Suffering says, this shouldn't be happening. It's unfair. It means something terrible about me or my future. When you understand this distinction, you can learn to experience pain without adding the extra layer of suffering. Think of it like weather. Sometimes it rains, sometimes it shines. The sky doesn't resist the rain or cling to the sunshine. It simply allows whatever weather is happening to happen. You can approach your inner weather the same way. Sometimes you'll feel joyful, sometimes sad, sometimes confused, sometimes clear. None of these states are permanent. They're all just part of the changing weather of consciousness. And here's one of the most liberating discoveries you can make. There are no real mistakes, only experiences. What you call failures are just experiments that didn't work out as expected. What you call successes are experiments that exceeded your expectations. But they're all just data points in the grand experiment of being human. A child learning to walk doesn't call it failure when they fall down. They simply try again. But we've forgotten this. We think we should be able to do everything perfectly on the first try. We think mistakes are signs of inadequacy rather than natural parts of the learning process. What if you could approach your whole life with the same attitude that child has toward learning to walk? What if every mistake was just information? Every failure just feedback? How much lighter would you feel if you weren't carrying around all that self-judgment about your imperfect performance? And now, let me tell you about one of the most profound discoveries. The rules are not fixed. They can change, and often do, based on how you choose to play. This is where the game becomes truly magical. Most games have rigid rules that everyone must follow. But the game of life is more like a collaborative improvisation where the rules evolve as you play. Your choices, your attitudes, your ways of being actually influence how the game unfolds for you. If you approach life with fear and suspicion, you tend to encounter situations that confirm your fears. If you approach it with curiosity and openness, you tend to find opportunities and adventures. If you play the role of the victim, you'll find plenty of people willing to play the villain. If you play the role of the hero, you'll discover your own capacity for courage and creativity. This isn't just positive thinking or wishful fantasy. It's recognition that consciousness is not passive. It's not just observing reality. It's participating in its creation. Your awareness, your attention, your choices, are all active ingredients in the unfolding of your experience. And here's the real beauty of the game. Everyone gets to win, but not in the way we usually think of winning. Your victory doesn't require anyone else's defeat. In fact, the more skillfully you play, the more you help everyone else play skillfully too. When you're truly happy, you don't make others miserable. You inspire them to find their own happiness. And let me share with you the final rule, perhaps the most important one. The game never actually ends. What you call death is just changing costumes, changing roles, changing the scenery. The player, the real you, the awareness that has been watching this whole performance ... continues. When you truly understand this, it changes everything. You stop being so desperate to cling to your current role. You stop being so terrified of change. You realize that you are not just playing in the game. You are the game playing itself, exploring infinite possibilities through countless characters and stories. And so we arrive at the end of our little exploration together. Though of course there is no real end, just as there was no real beginning. There is only this eternal now, this endless game, this magnificent play of consciousness discovering itself through every possible form and experience. The next time you find yourself taking life too seriously, remember, you are not a struggling individual trying to survive in a hostile universe. You are the universe itself playing at being an individual, exploring what it's like to apparently struggle, apparently succeed, apparently fail, apparently win. It's all play. It's all dancing. It's all music. Play skillfully. Play joyfully. Play with that light touch that comes from knowing it's all one magnificent cosmic game. And remember, in this game, everyone wins, because everyone is you, and you are everyone. And we're all just the one consciousness playing at being many. The game never ends. It only changes form. And what a delightful game it is.